Shoot.
All right, we are back from our 5-minute break. Just have asked Bill Rothar to come up. This was something that we had the presentation a week ago, 2 weeks ago, from BAS about the planning module for BAS as well as the workflow module. And they also spoke to us about the FOIL module. So I had asked Bill, we went through some numbers, to see if we could actually do all three of the modules, and I believe that we've come close to the money. There's some money left in my budget from my office. We went through the software licenses that we have to try and get some money through there, and I'll let you present the rest.
Okay, so as far as the cost for BAS itself, the two bigger projects or modules are the workflow and planning and zoning. I spoke to Rob Vitti this morning, and we worked out a payment schedule where they initially want us to pay for support in the initial payment, and we put that off until 2019. So whenever we implement this software, we won't have any support payment, although we'll have support, but won't have a payment until 19. And that's what got the number down to something a little more reasonable. It was a reasonable number to begin with, but we were able to find the money to cover that. So if you look at the spreadsheet that I gave you, the total cost of workflow in 18 is going to be $16,000. So that's the software, analytics, and training. The total cost of planning and zoning is $14,800, and the FOIL package is $2,500. The discussion I had with Rob was we would pay half of it when they install that on our computers, so that then they can come in and train. Once everyone's trained and up and working, we pay the other half. And then, again, January 1st, you'll see a note on the bottom. The support for that going forward will be $7,200 a year for all three of those modules. Okay? As the supervisor mentioned, there's about $17,000 in her budget line for salaries that we were using, and we actually saved money with Total Technology on a couple of things, on our firewall and some other projects that they're doing, or they're actually annual cost. So we have about $16,000 in our IT budget that we were hoping maybe using that for some of the hardware, because we do have hardware increases in VMware, but we do have a budget for that. So we found about $16,000 there in order to fund this.
That's great. Yep, so it'll be very nice. Everybody will be on the system. And the workflow, I think, was a big component of being able to make everybody be able to talk to each other and to save time from each department, even with planning, sending out letters, permitting, and everything else. So, so I think this is very exciting. If everybody's okay with this, we didn't have the resolution because we just got, Bill was able to connect with them today. So if everybody's okay with this, we will get the resolution together, and then you think we'd be able to have it by Friday?
I'll work on it.
Friday or early Monday morning, if everybody's okay to continue to put that in the package? Yes?
Then I can go home, because I've only been working on trying to upgrade our computer software since I got elected.
It only took me a couple months after getting elected, we got it through, so we're good,
Actually,
yeah.
most of it's done,
Yeah.
85% of it's done.
Yep, so
this
we're
is
just
the
keeping
last-
it rolling.
Good.
It'll never be done until we never have to say the word cobalt again.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
the
that's-
word.
I haven't heard that in a
Yeah.
while.
We're
so-
there, we're there.
I know, I was called ignorant for using that word one time.
Yep.
Thank you, Bill.
You're welcome.
So you do not wanna address the other, go right to resolutions?
Yeah.
Because we can ask the questions, it's an open session, if you wanna know the answer.
I know.
Discuss. So Bob, we're gonna have you come up. There was a question, that has been bantering back and forth. I don't know if you've seen the email as far as the Board of Ethics goes. We have, a group, we have the board, the members on that. We have a, town attorney on that. There was a question that came up whether, town attorney can serve, as the, attorney for the Board of Ethics. And what that discussion will be. So do you want to lay it out a little bit?
Well, yeah, I mean, we're still researching the issue. The question or the issue raised is whether the town attorney's office, when there's a ethics complaint lodged against one member of the town board, should be recused or removed to avoid any appearance of impropriety or avoid any conflict of interest by, pitting one town board member against the other board members in this light of the fact that we are your representatives as a body. And it does, at first blush, appear to provide a conflict for us, because if we are providing legal advice, which we do provide, although we do not make the ultimate determination with the Board of Ethics, it is problematic for us.
I agree. So who do you have in mind?
Well,
And will they-
Haven't gotten that far yet.
Let's have the discussion first.
Yeah.
I have a couple issues with it, because the Board of Ethics is always determining, for the most part, on issues involving town employees, board members, things like that. That's what they're asked to do. And it's the board itself that is only asking, and this is where I had a question, if you're just asking, okay, the board makes their determination, then they're going to the town attorney or to the attorney that's appointed to say, okay, this is the determination, this is our finding, is there anything legally, that in our determination we're not able to legally do. So I don't know where the town attorney really is having any conflict, in the sense that, other than, they're only providing the law. They're providing no other avenue. It's no different than if I said, Jim is being employed by somebody, and I don't think that he should be voting on something. So that, I don't understand how that is any different than this. Because if I feel he has a conflict that he hasn't self-identified, and I identify the conflict, then I'm asking same thing, make a decision on one of the board members, and I think that's the job of the ethics board, is to be that arbitrator of what is appropriate moving forward in somebody making a decision in the town, whether they can do that within the ethics of the town, and in the best interest of the community. So I'm not really sure why you would need an outside attorney to do that.
Well, let me just say, because there was a lot you just said.
Okay.
And a lot of questions you
I
just
almost
posed.
agree with it.
And I guess the fundamental issue is, who is actually making the decision? If it was the Board of Ethics solely, no legal request made, no opinion of counsel, I would agree with you that we don't have a conflict. There's not even a tinge of potential conflict under that scenario. Once the town attorney's office gets asked to interject itself, then we, I believe, have the potential conflict of interest, because we are pitting one town board member potentially against the rest of our client, the town board as a whole.
But, okay, so if I were to say about Jim that I didn't,
Stop talking about me.
all right, Catherine, so that would be also an outside attorney?
If we follow that line of reasoning, yes.
Have we followed that line of reasoning?
Never.
No,
There
but
have
Well, I
been
think we may
outside
have
attorneys
done one
into
with
the
Harvey
office.
Basunder in the past.
And what year was,
And-
what year was that?
I wanna say 15.
Ni-
I don't remember.
18, 15.
No.
And why was that done?
I think there was a question posed with respect to a particular town board member.
Do you know?
I don't remember the specifics.
I think we would need to know
Yeah, but I do seem to recall we retained Harvey Basunder to act in that capacity.
And my question would be, because we have a Board of Ethics, what is the Ethics Board opinion on this?
They've actually reached out to us to ask if they should be assigned independent counsel. And they're still discussing it.
Are they asking because they've made an opinion on it, or they're asking for your advice on it? I would think they would render an opinion on it, and then provide that opinion to
I'm
you.
not sure of the distinction. I think there was a reach out from one particular member of the board to deputy town attorney, asking whether outside counsel should be assigned. They haven't made a decision on
Council is assigned to the ethics board.
Eric Howard.
So that's my question. I think if one board member reaches out, I think the question has to go back to the board,
And that's what we
Yeah.
asked them to do.
yes.
But I think that, and I've spoken to Tim about this too, in that, it's his son-in-law, Eric Howard, and if there should be a disciplinary action taken against an employee, not even considering a board member, that the attorney for the ethics board is, your son-in-law, so it's just.
I'm not as concerned about that with an employee. I'm very concerned about it being a town board member, because I want complete transparency in this proceeding. And I don't think it is quite that way in my mind, if, not because he's my son-in-law, but because he, as a deputy town attorney, is kind of my subordinate, as you are, as everybody in your office is to the board.
Which following that line of reasoning disqualifies the entire office.
That's my point. That's
Do you know
why I'm
any other
requesting
towns that
for a
have
neutral,
outside
outside,
counsel for
independent
their Board of
counsel.
Ethics? Do you know any other towns that use outside counsel for the complete Board of Ethics?
The answer is, I don't.
Have you
I
ever
just
heard of
started-
that?
I haven't even investigated it.
Okay, so
This
maybe
is something new. I did speak to one of my colleagues, town remain not anonymous at this point. Their Board of Ethics acts almost entirely autonomous of any attorney involvement.
That's the way it should be. I'm not sure why we
They-
have the
they don't
attorney
have-
sitting in
they
on the
don't
Board of
have-
Ethics.
They don't have the attorney there. They rarely seek advice of the council. They act entirely on their own.
And I think,
That's one town. That was the only one I was able to speak
But-
to between
Yeah.
the email or the inquiry made yesterday and today.
I kind of have an issue with the attorney actually even sitting
I
in
have,
on it.
Well, we,
I've been
Tom can
before
get
the
sued.
ethics before. I mean, and I've been before the ethics board from two fellow council people that were going out of their way to put me before the ethics board because,
Haha.
you know, so.
I kind of feel the same way.
And we had a town attorney handling all that, but
I know.
the town attorney's
know.
role in that board of ethics is only to present the facts and present them with.
Well,
lay out the
actually,
facts.
actually, they
Not-
shouldn't
not
even be
even to do
involved in
that.
presenting the facts, and I don't think they do, from
Well,
what I
the complaint, I
understand.
should say.
From what
The
I
complaint.
understand, the complaint gets generated, it's turned over to the Board of Ethics, they do the fact finding, they run the meetings, they determine who
Right.
gets brought in for questioning, they determine the process, and they only seek advice from counsel when legal advice is sought.
Cause I can tell you,
My understanding
the
is,
ethics board, and
is
there's
they
no
don't- they don't-
wallflowers there. You got some pretty
correct,
sharp cookies on there.
I agree, they're
You also have
very
attorneys on
strong,
there.
they're very independent
Yes.
minded,
I
and very
absolutely think they're-
focused in their job.
I would prefer to present it back to the ethics board, to ask them, maybe they can reach out to several other towns if they would like some advice on it. But I agree that, you know, the attorney really shouldn't be in on the meetings unless it's requested by the Board of Ethics.
So what would happen if the ethics board made a determination against an employee or against a board member that led to litigation? Then what would happen? I mean, you're leaving a board that is an advisory board in charge of making decisions that could incite litigation.
They only give an opinion, they don't give, and when they do something other than give an opinion, then that would have to be read for legal, you know, just the legality. The town attorney's job is to protect the town. So if an opinion or something was going to be presented, the same as we do with anything else, even contracts, whatever, resolutions, you know, we present it to the town attorney, they look at it and say, not whether we should do it or not, but whether it's a legally sound thing to do. You need to watch out for this, you need to watch out for that, this should be changed or that should be changed. I mean, I think, is that not the role of the town attorney, to protect the town from litigation?
We provide advice to the boards, and the advice is to hopefully stave off litigation, prevent litigation, and to give you advice in the event there is litigation, of the likelihood of success, and whether we should settle. And also determining if we're in compliance with the various laws that impact the town government, whether it be general municipal law, town law, Freedom of Information law, the Open Meetings law, things like that.
So I don't think that
So I
nothing's
mean,
gonna
the
be
answer
presented
is, that's our
without.
job. Our job is to provide legal advice on a day-to-day basis to help the town. And I'm, Councilwoman Higley, I'm trying to think of a fact pattern that where, you know, Code of Ethics decision would result in litigation. It's more, it's a non-adversarial type of setting for the most part. So I'm trying to think of something where litigation would ensue. So, I'm not sure what would happen in
Well,
that
if
case. But
it-
obviously, I guess, you know, I guess anything's possible, but I'm just trying to think of a fact pattern or scenario where that would happen.
We shall see.
Okay.
So I think this brings us into question, because there is some things pending before the Board of Ethics. I know, I don't know if you guys, I know a couple of you said you'd like decisions to come through, before, I know we have the Q&E, pending, and you would like to see some information back from the Board of Ethics. So I think, Bob, if you wanna do some more research, so you can feel comfortable and provide us an opinion back to the board, so that we can then make a decision on how we wanna proceed.
I'll do
I
that.
think would be, is everybody okay with that
I'm good with
course?
that.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay,
thank you.
thank you.
Thank you, Bob.
I think it's all.
No, there's no questions from the audience at the work session. So can we move on to resolutions? No, no, yeah. So we'll move on to resolutions. If you want to ask a question of somebody, you can ask after the meeting. So, first resolution is Resolution 1/218, CHIPS Road Resurfacing Grant Budget Adoption. The second is 2018 EWR Road Resurfacing Grant Budget Adoption. Number 3 is 2008 Pave Road New York Resurfacing Grant Budget Adoption. 4 is 1871 Old Country Road Water Service Installation Water District Capital Project Number 30, 148. Resolution 5 is 1377 Pulaski Street Water Main Extension Water District Capital Project Number 30, 149. Number 6 is Riverhead Sewer District Chemical Budget Adjustment. Number 6. Number 7 is Round 13 Downtown Revitalization Grant, Project Number 44035 for the installation of LED lighting. These are the grants that Dawn talked about. Number 8 is appoint student intern to the accounting department. Number 9 is Riverhead Water District Capital Project Water Main Installation and Apertures Budget Adjustment.
Appurtenances.
Oh, sorry, appurtenances, sorry.
I know, it's a stupid word.
Number 10 is Round 15 Downtown Revitalization Grant Project 44035 for the installation of LED lighting. One is downtown, one is Jamesport. 11 is authorizing removal of fixed assets record from the system. 12 is assumes lead agency, issues declaration of significance and grants excavation importation permits as provided by Chapter 229 to Westvac Contracting Corp., 3615 Middle Country Road, Calverton, tax max 600-117-02-009.02.
That's pods, I think, right?
Yes.
This is the pods grant.
Yeah, and then I just asked Brad because for the as far as not having somebody monitor it, to request that they install a camera, so that it can be, instead of having to send somebody out there, we can just have the camera review.
At their expense.
At their expense, yes. I think it might be something we wanna do moving forward, is to have them provide cameras, and if there's any gap in the cameras, there'll be a fine attached to any gaps or the cameras being shut off. For several of the projects, I think it might, serve us well. 13 is authorizes funding application to New York State for Downtown Revitalization Initiative. 14 is supports, endorses, and authorized pursuant of Suffolk County Downtown Revitalization Round 16 funding for reconfiguration of downtown parking lot north side of Main Street, First Street lot. 15 is authorize the supervisor to execute a license agreement with East End Disability Associates for the property located at River Road, Calverton, and known as the Henry Pfeiffer Community Center.
Is that agreement attached?
I
Yes,
believe
it
it is,
is.
yeah.
It is.
And then they're gonna pay, I think, $1,500 a month to cover the costs that we've been paying there. 16 is reappoint a temporary student intern, 2 to the engineering department. 17 accepts skid steer donation from Highway to Building and Grounds. This was something Highway was no longer using, that Buildings and Grounds could use, so that was a nice swap over there. 18 is terminate a leave of absence and ratifies the reappointment of part-time police officers to active duty status. This is Joseph Crosser and Matthew Suprina, I guess is how you say his name. So they finished their academy training, and we look forward to having them here to start work. Reappoint a temporary part-time water treatment plant operator. 20 is establishes standard workday for elected officials. 21 is classifies action and requests lead agency status for SECRA, review of the special permit site planning zoning board of appeals application for the expansion of the Real Life Church of Wading River, 29 Dogwood Avenue, Wading River, New York. So this, Oh, yeah, this is just required, this is us, because I keep.
What is back to 20, where it says establishes standard workday for elected officials, and it says town supervisor is 30 hours and town council member is 14 hours, shouldn't that say work week?
No, it's per day.
Standard work day is 7.
7,
Yeah.
Right.
and then it says record of activities result, so,
Is that days per month?
You know what, yeah, Meg isn't here,
I would assume that's hours per.
you have to do a certain number of hours to be
yeah,
for the
no, I know,
retirement
but I just
system.
think it should be
So-
clear, that's all.
Meg wasn't here today, we can clarify with that
Yeah,
before, because I had a question about how that works
Yeah.
also. I think it's, for when you first start, you submit your hours, and then it goes, you don't submit after that, but it just,
I think that's days per
Oh,
month.
you owe me a lot of overtime, it's only 14
is it
hours
days
a
per
week.
month?
It might be days per month.
I know, that's why it just needs
Well,
clarification, that's all.
We'll find out. 21 is, did I just read this? Yes, I read that one. 22, adopts a local law to amend Chapter 301 of the Riverhead Town Code entitled Zoning and Land Development, Site Plan Application, Procedures and Fees. 23 is awards bids for townwide printing. 24 is transfers and account, are these in here?
Transfers and that.
No, never mind. Nope, that's not here. So 24 and 25, will hold off. That's for, we have to have executive session on those first. 26 is amends Resolution 232. And then 27 is amends Resolution 233. This is confusing. So this is, one is the salaries for the call-in, and the other one is to make it January 1st of the call-in. So we accepted the call-in salaries, and then the second resolution has to accept that it goes back to January.
So both resolutions, there was just a missing clause in the resolutions that raised it to be passed, that we should authorize what the effective date of the salaries is. So we just amended the resolution just to make it clearer so that the town is,
So we've done that by making two confusing resolutions. But basically it was, remember when Ray came in and we asked him to redo the salary schedule for the call-ins, nobody had come in, but we go back to January to put it in. 28 is approves a settlement, 29 is approves Grazios Plumbing and Heating as a drain layer for Riverhead Sewer District. This is just somebody who wants to be on the request to become an authorized drain layer. Did I skip 29? No, that's 29. 30, terminates an agreement with Lawrence Levy to provide cable cast production services.
Yeah, I can't believe the TV just went out.
Yeah. 31, appoints members to Downtown Revitalization Committee.
And if I could interject there for my other board members, hoping to amend this by Monday, so that we can add the remaining members.
Okay.
We need to confirm them.
And, number 4, Joe Montalbano, that should be spelled correctly.
32 is ratifies authorization for Lawrence Levy to provide additional audiovisual production services for the Board of Assessment review hearing on May 15th. I thought it was 2 days. Is it just 1 day?
No, I believe 1 day.
1 day? Okay. And that's why the town board meeting is switched to the 16th. Ratifies authorization for the supervisor to execute an amendment agreement with G&G Technologies, Inc. regarding cablecast services. That was the reduction in price.
And he read the contract and was okay with the insurance terms and everything else?
This is the, which one is this one?
We have discussed 3 different services that the town is gonna pay for
This is
a while
what
ago.
Dan McCormick had presented
Right,
with the
and came
cable,
back with a better
live
price, right.
streaming
Yes.
versus whether it was gonna be on the computer.
A couple different options to
Right.
choose from, and
If you go to the last page of that, you'll see what it is.
Right, but that's the last resolution, I'm just wondering where the resolution is to appoint the new person that's gonna be taking over the cable cast
Oh, my buddy
systems.
Dakota?
I don't know if
It'll
that's
come.
in here yet.
It's not like we were gonna discuss in
Oh,
executive
okay.
session before the resolution's already.
Yep. Because it's a personnel item. Authorize an agreement.
It's actually a contract, but,
Contract. Authorize an agreement with Granicus for legislative management software license solutions. Diane, you can jump up and down on this one. This is the program we talked about for the agenda items and things like that. Appoint a temporary part-time clerk to the tax receiver's office. That's 35.
Is there another one?
I don't have another one.
There's another one here. There's a
Oh,
36.
sorry, ratifies the appointment of a temporary part-time clerk to the tax receiver's office. All right, and then I have to find my thing here for the, okay.
So, I have two.
And can I have a first and second to go into executive session? One is litigation, pending litigation in the matter of the town of Riverhead versus Aptiva Environmental. Current litigation in the matter of town of Riverhead versus Bating Hollow Farms LLC, Bating Hollow Farm Vineyard LLC, Stephen L. Levine, Sharon L. Levine, and Richard Rubin. Town of Riverhead, Suffolk IDA, Culinary Arts Center, 200 Meeting House Road litigation, contractual, Channel 22 contractual changes, negotiation with A. Young, stormwater consultant renewal contract, and EPCAL attorney-client consultation. Personnel is legal advice from outside counsel regarding a disciplinary matter, matters leading to the hiring of an employee, matters leading to the hiring of a police officer.
I'm sorry, I wasn't listening, what did you say?
Repeat that again.
That's so.
First and second,
I move that we go into an executive session.
Jim,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.